Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to Magic the Gathering Arena, where today we are playing slightly updated version of the deck we played recently, Rakdos Midrange, but this time we are swapping out the Bloodthirsty Adversary Soul Transfer package and the Moonveil regions for something a little more planeswalkery. We've got Sorin the Mirthless and Lol Spider Queen replacing our Moonveil regions, and we've got Corrupt Court Official as an extra 2-drop that really goes well with Ob Nixilis. Not only does it make them discard to help trigger Ob faster, but also it's a fantastic thing to sacrifice. But also, on top of that, you can actually lock people out of their draw step. If you have a Reflections of Kiki-Jiki and a Corrupt Court Official in play at the same time, then obviously you're making them discard a bunch of cards with Ob and Corrupt Court Official already, but then if they're Hellbent, then on their draw step, every single turn, you can Kiki-Jiki away their cards, so you effectively soft lock them out of the game. I'm not sure how often this is going to come up or how consistent this is going to be, but it's something that we have to try. Outside of that, the rest of the deck is much the same as we saw before. Efficient 1-drop removal, Eye Twitches, Tenacious Underdogs to help support Ob as good value creatures to sacrifice. Blood Tithe Harvesters, good with favorable Mirror Breaker, can be sacrificed to Ob if absolutely necessary, also a good way to pressure. So like, we've got 6 2-mana 3/2s. And then a pair of Planeswalkers were newly added in place of our value 4-drop. Now, we are going down 1 piece of spot removal. 3 mana is a little clunky since our deck is trying to be so hyper efficient. I think in a bigger version, going larger with enchantments and artifacts, this might be better. But as it is, I'm still fairly happy with this. And then we even crafted out a sideboard. It's a pretty basic one. Triple Graveyard Trespasser for matchups where you want Graveyard Hate, a permanent that's difficult for enemies to remove. Like, people who don't have creatures and have to, like, point spells at this, they really don't like Graveyard Trespasser. Triple Duress, Go Blank, just pretty obvious, includes against anybody who's not trying to add to the board. Couple of extra point-and-click removal spells against all of those aggressive players, and then you've got Valky, God of Lies, double timing as a roadblock against creature decks, and also as a massive additional planeswalker threat that comes in against the bigger mana matchups. So, take it for a spin. Deck sounds really good in theory. We really don't like there are some cards that I think of when I'm playing this deck, and I just do not like the sound of facing them. Esika's Chariot is top of that list. I really hate Esika's Chariot, especially as one of the things that this deck can lose to is an early amount of board presence, and Esika's Chariot will normally bring along a whole bunch of cats, and if they ever get it on turn 3 when you're on the draw, it just doesn't feel like there's anything you can do, man. It's a real feels bad, let me tell you. Yep, Spurs have. Whoa, that's an even better 2-drop. Now all that remains is for us to draw a Nixilis. Even if we don't draw Nixilis, we can go Corrupt Court Official Strangle if they play something that's strangleable, which I'm not sure they will. Fading Hope, my underdog. Okay. Ooh. Definitely doing that now, because Tenacious Underdog, Hidden Mode, discard to Fable of the Mirror Breaker for value, Skyclave Apparition. You're gonna go after my Fable. I don't know how well that's gonna work out for you, I'll be honest. So let's play this tap. We do on the land. Let's not Court Official yet. Because there's so many cards in hand. Let's Underdog and strangle that. So now if they want to Doomscar, they'll still have to wait a turn. If they depopulate, that's probably the worst case scenario, but they're still just getting these 2 creatures. Tenacious Underdog can eventually come back. Okay, they still don't have any basic land, so that's something. They gotta have something here. What do you got? Wandering Emperor, sure, there we go. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, it would be super strange if you had exiting the Tenacious Underdog. Do we care? I think we just let that go, that's fine. We can probably kill it off with attacks next turn, and then now we can go Sorin minus. He's exceedingly unlikely to have. We have 6 mana, so I think I'm actually going to hold on to this Mauling. Because there's a blocker that Inspire. Sure. 2 mana, 2 draw card. Are you playing a teleportation circle deck? Is that what's happening? Not a bad draw. Let's +1. Feel absolutely fine by me. Let's Maul, because Thirst can also get rid of Planeswalkers, which this cannot. And then next, hit here, and hit here. And there's no reason for me to really add to the board. But I think so I'm not going to play out the Blood Tithe Harvester. Like, one of the few ways we lose control here is if they have a massive sweeper, and we have nothing. Okay, well, they're just going to scoop it up. We're against Bont value, probably Teleportation Circle by the looks of things. Because why else would you play Inspiring Overseer? Inspiring Overseer into Teleportation Circle does sound like a curve, though. It's possible we completely forgot to have Invoke Despairs in our main or in our sideboard to deal with situations like that, but that's okay. I think we can beat this deck even without it. What did we see? We saw Wandering Emperor, Fading Hope, Inspiring Overseer, so Duress should be good in this matchup. Also saw Skyclave Apparitions. They do have a bunch of ways to exile the underdog, so maybe that's not as great. Also, one nice thing about our spot removal is all of it hits Planeswalkers, but Bloodchief's Thirst does seem a little slow. I didn't really see any 1 or 2 drops out of them, and then paying 4 mana for this sounds really bad, and as it is, we still got this amount of removal. Do we care about Graveyard Trespasser against them? I don't think so. They didn't really show any signs of graveyard stuff. Although the Ward might be very good if they're playing a more controlling list, which it did look like they were trying to do. I wonder. Honestly, let me just run it back like this, and then let's just see what comes out of it. One of the things about this deck is it's just like, it's so efficient, and it's so well-rounded as a strategy. It's really hard to think about this, what to cut in sideboards, because all of it is just, it's just decent. I Twitch first or Duress first? I think Twitch first, and then we can Duress them later on, because what 2 mana non-creature spell could they play that just makes me afraid for my life? Let's go black again, and then now we'll have Ob Nix up. Wow. Definitely should have cast Duress turn 1. Now we're just gonna get Skyclave for days. That was silly. Since we have an Ob, let's just minus here, because all he can do here is cast another Skyclave Apparition. This is a Doomscar, I suppose. Struggle for Scamfar would be really funny, if that's what this is. Come on. Okay, there we go. I'm still laughing about the Duress play. Okay, that's very good. So let's play out the Sekenzan. Let's... they're not going to block, there's no way, because that would involve giving up one of their Skyclaves, at least from their perspective. But now, what we know, what they don't know, is we have another Ob coming. And here we are. Make a devil, and plus. get a land. I'm super happy with the addition of Explorer to Arena, because now you can go Croxa plus Ob Nixilis, and it feels good. Okay, let's block there so we can get our 3/3. And there you are. Ping Yi. And now my guess is he's going to play Skyclave again and get rid of this one as well. Okay. Now we don't really have anything in the yard, and we just have a bunch of things in exile, so meh. Let's just play out this, because I think we're doing better on board than they are. And we'll pass the turn, and we can loot away one of these meat hooks if it becomes necessary. I mean, they will have to do something about our board, because it is currently better than their board. If they trade away with the apparitions, for instance, then I just get more 3/3s. I'm not going to downgrade my 3/2. Oh, pass to blockers. If that's a Doomscar, then this is not great, because we're only going to have a 1/1 left over. But if this is not a Doomscar, this is a Doomscar, then this is so much better. But it's like, either way, it's just like, it's still just so much value for us, because we essentially made them use all of their cards. Oh, well, that was an excellent draw. They don't have Wandering Emperor mana either. Now we have Den of the Bugbear. Can you imagine if we duress that away instead? Yeah, let's go to combat. Let's go to attackers. Attack. Then let's play out a sword. We've got a counter spell for this. He probably has Wandering Emperor, in which case this is definitely better. Sure. And now let's play out the second Den of the Bugbear. Pass turn. There we go. There's the Wandering Emperor. 2/2, 3/3 hit Sorin down to 2. Not really expecting haste or blitz out of the Bont deck. Yep. I twitch. Okay. They do not have mana for a second Wandering Emperor, so let's draw a card. Swamp. So if we meat hook for 3, still leaves them with more stuff they can do with Wandering Emperor. I don't love that, so let's do this. Let's blitz in the underdog. Attack. Threaten Wandering Emperor with both. Now, if they want to throw away their token for our underdog, that's still fine. Because we get to draw a card off of this. What? Okay, well, that was not an ideal use of their Brogus Charm, I will tell you that much. And now, even if they do this, yeah, because now I was thinking, even if they do this, now we can just meat hook for 2 and get rid of their Samurai. And now, next turn, we'll have Hogra Mauling plus Tenacious Underdog to get their blockers out of the way. Yeah, no, they're just dead, and they know it. Just repeated Tenacious Underdogging with Meat Hook Massacre online. Too much, too strong. we basically mulliganed ourselves that game, and we were still completely fine. I do wish, like, I would do that differently from now on. If I have the choice of casting Eye Twitch or Duress in turn 1, because of Foretell and because I'm playing against a deck that has both creatures and non-creature spells, I think Duressing first would be better before they can get the Foretell stuff out of their hand. So in that particular match, okay, well, we have a pretty good hand against an opponent who's mulliganing. So let's Eye Twitch and see what comes of this. Usher of the Fallen, sure. I am a-okay with this. What if he has Luminarch Aspirant? Well, then we chump block with our Eye Twitch, we get Environmental Sciences, and we get a second black source, and we Blood Chief's Thirst off of it. If he does not have a Luminarch Aspirant, oh no. Ah, honey. Ouch. Eye Twitch, you will be sorely missed. You are legitimately a pillar of this format. Don't let anyone tell you different. Not close to meat hooking, but if we do meat hook, it's gonna be really juicy. If they play another like X1 here, Adeline is like the thing we really don't want to see. Spellbinder. And there goes our beautiful meat hook. Well, now we have to hope to draw land for Sorin. In fact, we just have to hope to keep drawing lands. Like, if you don't take meat hook, you're just dead. So, you have to do that. Okay, we did draw land for Sorin, so let's Sorin. -2. And now they need to have Brutal Cathar to deal with this. That's really what punishes us here. Yeah, sure. I've got another one where that came from. Not sure why they would attack in with Usher. The post-combat Luminarch Aspirant. Dude, can you imagine if we had just drawn a land there? Let's Thirst. No, I don't even think we care about thirsting, to be honest. Let's just Sorin. Plus reveal. Play our land. And this meat hook for 1 is going to end this game. Unless they go like Paladin class and buff everything up by 1, this does not go well for them. Okay. I will happily throw away this vampire to protect the Sorin, by the way. Okay. Okay. Everybody at Sorin. So I'm not being given the chance to block? That right? That's fine. Got a soul transfer to get it back eventually, so might as well gain our 2 life and threaten to block the Aspirant. Igonju. That's what they had. Sure. Wow. Absolutely. Happy. Give me a land. I'm going to play this meat hook. Land into meat hook. Land into meat hook. Land into meat hook. GG. We even have a Field of Ruin for this cave. Let's Fable and pass. We'll Field of Ruin whichever they power up. Hopeful Initiate, sure. Are you gonna power up the Crawling Barons? You should, right? second cave though. Thing about crawling barrens is we can chump it, whereas cave really can't be chumped. Honestly, this is fine. Let's get rid of their Field of Ruin. Let's Field of Ruin away one of the caves. Activating barrens, sure. We do not, as of right now, have an instant speed removal spell, but I think it'll be okay. Second meat hook, sure. Discard up to 2 cards. I don't think we'll be needing the second meat hook. TBH. And I think I like all my other cards also. TBH. So let's get rid of just the 1 meat hook. Okay. Just go to combat. Let's attack there. It's not gonna block. Now we have artifact and enchantment, so it's not ideal to soul transfer a hopeful initiate, but I mean, you want to give me a Sarn, I'll take a Sarn. Yeah, he's had enough. Against mono white, we are just bringing in these power word kills. Taking out what? Fable requires you to attack, so that's not great. Lolth and Sorin are both very good. Yeah, I think I'm okay with cutting Pair of Fable. I mean, arguably Tenacious Underdog is also not great, because it's just a 2-mana 3/2. But I think I would rather have the board presence from this and the potential card draw later on than something that requires me to attack. And I'm not looking to rummage nearly as badly in this matchup. In fact, in this matchup, all I'm hoping to do is just kill all of their creatures. So now that we have 8 cheap spot removal spells, actually 12 if you count the Blood Tithe Harvesters, and then 2 Soul Transfers. What is this? An opponent mulligan last game, so I suppose it's only for I mulligan this game. This Nixilis looks really bad at the moment. Does it look worse than Sorin? We already have a turn 3 play, and we're on the draw, so we're probably going to be behind on board. So Nixilis sounds much worse than Sorin here. Alright, you got yourself an Usher, fam. Let's Haunted Ridge in case we want a Shatter Skull Smashing power word kill next turn. Looking like we might. Okay, we don't have to hurt ourselves anymore, which is good. Aspirant, if it tries to put, well, now. Let's just save life. Their little bit of damage is going to matter a lot less. They might take Shadow Skull Smashing here, which would be pretty awkward. For both them and for me. Because for me that would mean I can't go through with my plan of Shadow Skull Smashing multiple 1/1s. For them, because I could still play it as a land. Okay. Put it on the Spellbinder. Sure thing, boss. Now let's Haunted Ridge. I think the only sensible choice here is Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Technically we could Soul Transfer, but I'm not that desperate. What if they play like an Adeline here, though? That would not be great. But then we would be looking for a Meathook Massacre as the only thing that can get us out of this. So I don't hate that. Blue Cathar. Whoops. Wow. Hey, can somebody give me a Meathook Massacre this turn? It would actually end this game. Let's definitely discarding that. And this is probably too slow. I cannot cast this and power word kill on the same turn anyways. Those are not Meathook Massacres. Ooh, that represents a lot of damage. That represents 3 extra damage. Okay, well, I will pretty happily get rid of that. But now we have to draw Meathook. Only card that gets us out of this. It's not a Meathook. Die with a bunch of lands in hand. Sounds like a plan. I mean, we had to mulligan into a pretty deadly hand. Okay, Fable of the Nervebreaker is horrifyingly bad, actually. I think I underestimated how bad it is in this matchup. A pair of Valky to shut down their early creatures and replace some of the threat level that we get from Fable of the Nervebreaker sounds much better. Setting up long grindy synergies 5 to 6 turns in the game is not how we're going to win this one. Ob is still fine because of the repeated life gain and the devils. The devils are fantastic blockers. What is in standard right now that I can cast on turn 3 that gives like -2 or -3? I don't rightly remember, but there should be some cards like that, and I think we might consider playing some of them. Okay, opponent has no 1-drop. That's a nice change of pace. He's definitely certain to have critters. Which one do we care about the most? I think we care about, like, Aspirant is slow, but good, especially with the flyers. Let's take the Aspirant, because I care about turning my Valky into an Aspirant the best. There's the Thalia. Now, we can either go Blood Tithe Harvester, or we can Valky. And I think I'm okay with that. Let's Valky. Put a counter on Eye Twitch, attack. Funnily enough, they do not have removal for my Eye Twitch. They can make this LOL very hard to cast. Yeah, and they are going to do that. You want to attack? You're more than welcome to. There we go. Ouch. Oh no. Oh no. That is dirty. No attacks. I do not want to trade here. Ugh. Clean 2-for-1. Meathook Massacre. Every time we have cast this card, it has been absolutely disgusting. I will actually pretty happily cast a Blood Tithe Harvester and then blood away. Put a counter on Eye Twitch, and do we play defensively or aggressively? Pretty happy offering up this trade. Yeah, I don't think they're going to go for that. They're probably planning to Wandering Emperor away the tapped Eye Twitch. But if they do that, they're going to have to main phase it. Because if they wait for my turn, then I can just choose to not attack, which I absolutely will do, because I know they have Wandering Emperor in hand. March of Otherworldly Light. What? Getting rid of a Wandering Emperor? Do you really think that tempo is that important? I mean, I can just Blood Tithe Harvester away your guy. I don't even know that I'm going to, though. In this scenario, I think I'm legitimately just gonna, like, throw away this instead. Draw a card. Oh. Well. In that case. Attack. Smash. Are you legitimately going to trade your Luminarch Aspirant? I would be thrilled. Okay. Casualty. Sacrifice this. Grab a Necrotic Fumes. chaotic fumes, and then make a devil, and then make another devil, and then fumes away the flyer. Yeah, there we are. Because they would need a removal spell for the devil, and that would just let them get rid of one of the obs, and then we still have a Lolth coming. We could have just made them double discard, but I think just applying that massive amount of pressure against them when we have the Meathook Massacre in play, I think that just makes more sense. This deck feels really smooth. Like, yo, not just a little bit smooth. Really smooth. It's so efficient. It's a really nice feeling to play a deck that just, like, the only time we mulliganed or felt like our hand was unplayable was when we drew a one-lander. The filtering you get from the blood, the cheap removal, the cheap engines from the Ob, the Fable. Just so efficient. It's just so nice. A lot of the times, you will have to trade efficiency for power in Magic, but this deck, it does a really amazing job of straddling that line. We're a little light on lands in this hand, so we are going to go ahead and play this first Hogwarts Brute Pit, and then future Hogwarts Maulings we will consider playing out. What is this? Epicure. Okay, looks like we are up against Jund? What? Anyways, Corrupt Court Official, pretty solid 2-drop, especially against an opponent that has mulliganed. They get rid of a Tenacious Underdog, that's quite funny. It's one less card for them to blood away, but I'm sure they've got more. No blocks. Play like Blood-Tithe Harvester or something. Yeah, okay. Well, my fine friend, Nixilis is here. Everybody's favorite planeswalker, Mr. Nixilis. And we begin the drain process. Ah, only called Anvil. That is a magic card. The endless barrage of 1/1s. Sure, that doesn't even kill either of the guys though. What? Shouldn't you have gone after the one that you could actually kill? We'll ping the Epicure away, and then we're doing this because we can strangle the Blood-Tithe Harvester. And we're probably going to get rid of one of these so that he has a 1/1. Sure. If we draw a land, that changes plans. I don't think it does though, actually. I don't think I want to play Sorin into this board. That's Blood-Tithe. And then strangle their Blood-Tithe as planned. And now they would need to kill my Blood-Tithe Harvester and have one more point of damage. This only deals damage to opponents, yeah. It's like, this deck's very, very nice as well, but it's just, if you're going against somebody who's just trying to play hyper efficiently, then this is just, it is really bad to have cards like Voldar and Epicure in your deck. Sure. But you know what is a good card to have in your deck though at all times? Deadly Dispute. That card is bonkers. I will not miss it when it rotates out. 2 mana, draw 2 cards, make mana. What? Trigger Sacrifice. This card does so much. Okay. Well. +1. +1. We have planeswalkers, guys. I'm just saying. I'm not even going to attack because as much as I would like to, I want to make sure that I don't lose my walkers to a random removal spell. Like random chain of removal spells or Tenacious Underdog. Okay, they're going to play their own copy of Ob Nixilis. I will just be taking all of the damage. My Ob Nixilis is better than your Ob Nixilis. Discard a card. Hell no, dude. Get out of here. Get out of here, you. Okay, so let's Meat Hook for 1. We have no Planeswalker on 1. Yes, we do not. Okay. That is correct. Meat Hook for 1. They might decide in response to they might decide to kill our Blood Tithe Harvester off of the Devil. That's okay. Sure. And now, the reason this works out is we can attack this for 1, hit him, and then we can strangle. I don't even think we care actually about strangling that guy, but it's honestly fine. So it's -2, +1. Land is fine, and then plus here. You know what? I will strangle this. Yeah, well, let us strangle that. It's one of the few things that he's got left. And if we feel like we urgently need to draw something, we can blood away our Takenuma. But if all they're doing here is just activating their Tenacious Underdog, then it's not going to go well. Yeah. Millions of 1/1s. Synthesizer, sure. It's a good draw. Second Onicult Anvil. This might get annoying in a hurry, actually. What are they splashing green for? Curious about that, for sure. Ziatora? Corvold's not in the format. Corvold would go incredibly with this list. What are you thinking? Are you considering not casting your Onicult Anvil? That seems intense. He didn't cast his Onicult Anvil. Man's crazy. Let's +1. Let's +1. Let's +1. I know we're not adding a bunch to the board here, but that's I'm okay with that, just because we drew a Lolth this turn. If we had not drawn the Lolth, then I would not be okay with this. Okay, next to combat. Attacked you for 2. Lolth. Make 2 1/1s. Pick two 2/1s, I should say. 4 Planeswalkers in play. Valky's in the sideboard, otherwise we could potentially have drawn a Valky next turn and had 5 walkers in play. We're not playing Blood on the Snow. Thank gods. Hey man, this plan seems pretty good. We could also, in theory, draw 7 cards if the game goes on for a bit longer. Sure thing, boss. Draw your cards, boss. Spin your wheels, boss. I got answers for your stuff. Shadow's Verdict is also incredible against Ob decks, but people aren't playing Shadow's Verdict as much. Alright, now this is the time to smash. What do you got? That's a large amount of pressure, for sure. And depending on what they do, we'll either use our Planeswalkers to make more creatures or Voltage. Just actively decided against Voltage searching a Planeswalker. It doesn't do anything because there's too many. Next. Are you gonna block the devil? Yes, you are. Alright. Ping, ping. Ping, ping. Let's draw a card. Soul transfer, you say? I mean, they'll have to discard 2, so I think that's probably pretty good. So let's make him discard 2. Let's make him discard 2 again. We still have threats left in play. And now let's actually make a vampire. And also make a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Because the only board wipe these decks play is Meathook Massacre, and Meathook Massacre is not going to get the job done against an opposing Meathook Massacre, because my Meathook Massacre will trigger before theirs does. They also cannot blitz their underdog. This is not looking great. Losing on your own terms, I like that. Alright. What are we doing against Black-Red Artifact Sacrifice? I mean, our plan of going bigger with Planeswalkers seemed to go really well. That did a large amount of work. So now the question is, what are they going to do against us? What are we going to do against them? Graveyard Trespasser, the fact that it does not get Volt searched is very, very good. The fact that we have no artifact removal on our sideboard is not actually very good. I'm not happy about that. Go blank seems good for sure. So maybe just bring in the go blank and the Graveyard Trespasser. Because not being able to deal with only cult anvils that have hit the board does seem messy. Meathook is very important in this matchup because this matchup is actually about pressure life totals. Like all the grindy stuff that either side is doing does result in life total swings. Bloodchief's Thirst does not do a good job of hitting Obs very easily, so Strangle is definitely better. Soul Transfer, it's not ideal, but it is a value removal spell. So let's go blank, and either we bring in Duresses or we bring in Trespassers. Let's bring in Trespassers, right? Threats sound better. Could like shave a Fable to grab these Trespassers, because I feel like a lot of the time these games are going to come down to whose top of the deck is better, because we're both going to trade a bunch of resources and then going to be start drawing off of the top of our deck. In those situations, it's better not to have cards like Duress. But the reason I was so hesitant about just slamming Trespasser is because of the millions of chump blockers they can make from Oni Cult Anvil. Chump blockers are really something that Graveyard Trespasser does not want to see. This hand is not great because it has no black, but if it draws a single black source, it is very nice. Well, there we are. But even if it doesn't have a black source, it still has a Fable. Bloodlight Harvester. Tenacious Underdog. Underdog you too, bro. And then next turn we have Fable getting rid of an underdog. Trade underdogs, that's fine. Synthesizer. Sure. Let's Fable? Yeah, that seems correct. Still don't know what their green is for. Is it to deal with opposing Onicult Anvils, bring in natural? What on earth? Riveteer's Charm. This took a sharp turn. Let's discard this guy and this Shadow Skull Smashing. Draw 2. Oh, that is fantastic. Let's play out a Black Source. Attack. Let's see if you want to trade for my treasure-making goblin. You do want to trade for my treasure-making goblin. See, I would love to just play Sorin here. Honestly, I still might. Yeah, okay, I'm going to play Sorin in plus, because if I play Sorin in minus, he gets to Tenacious Underdog, which is very annoying. But if I play Sorin in plus, now, even if he Tenacious Underdogs, it doesn't die. He needs to have Tenacious Underdog plus some other spell. And then next turn, we can Graveyard Trespass away the Underdog. Just trade of Sorins. Sure. Now that is much, much, much worse for them, because this is not a Volted Surge. There is no 1-mana removal spell they could have. And the reason this is much worse is because now I can strangle this. Ouch. Underdog. Yeah, take 5. Draw my Planeswalker. Kill their Sorin. And I am legitimately happy. I'm legitimately happy chumping. I'm legitimately happy. Well, I'm not chumping exactly. But, like, not happy exactly. But I'd be okay chumping to protect my Sorin on 6, is what I'm saying. And it also would force him to spend his entire... Oh. Sure. Now what? Well, let's Graveyard Trespasser away their Tenacious Underdog finally. And let's minus Sorin, plus Sorin. Honestly, let's just get some board presence. We have so many cards in hand. There. What do you got, OP? What do you got? Asika's Chariot, perhaps? No, Meathook Massacre. That is the worst card in this situation for us. But I played this, like, full well recognizing that that's a thing that might happen. Okay, they do have a pair of Hives that we do have to watch out for. Let's Blood Token away this swamp. Okay, Takenuma would be pretty good here, so let's plus. See what we can find. Ob Nix, that's a good one. Haunted Ridge. Let's Soul Transfer. We do not possess an artifact and an enchantment, and it does not look like we're going to be close to having an artifact and an enchantment. I would love to just get this for value. Honestly, Lolth is fine. No, let's Tenacious Underdog. See if they'll trade. If they trade, well and fine. We drew a card, we got rid of their Tenacious Underdog. Oh, and we also draw a Graveyard Trespasser. I was going to say we're happy to Ob there if necessary. Okay, we do need to find a way to deal with their Meathook Massacre. It is not because we can't beat it, but just because it's really annoying. Okay, Hive of the Eye Tyrant coming in to try and deal with our Sorin, plus get rid of a Tenacious Underdog. That is a very annoying thing to have happen. We can eventually get back a Sorin though. Right, we can eventually get back a Sorin with the Takenuma. And I mean, we exiled their underdogs, so it's only fair that he exiles our underdogs. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's combat. Get him. Let's get both of these. I don't think it matters past having creatures. Seems very unlikely that they can recur artifacts. Okay, the reason I wowed at that is because now we've got some things happening, let me tell you. So Wolf minus Voltage Surge. Voltage Surge. Sure, still have a Takenuma. And we drew another Sorin, so we don't need to be worried about that as much. And now Ob Nix. Let's get rid of one of these guys. Yeah, sure, you can gain your life. Minus there. Now we can block their Hive. And they're probably just going to take the 2 damage, they don't care about discarding. And if they spend their time just activating Hive, no casualty Ob is not that good. Still don't have an enchantment though. Oh, they're gonna finish off one of our Obs. That's fine. We can draw more Obs. That's not the token Ob. So if we draw a regular Ob, we can definitely do some more character rest. Woo. Honestly, one of our best draws is just like Meatook Massacre to offset his Meatook Massacres. Okay. Plus. I'm gonna gain 2. Let's make this den happen. And now we'll go to combat, attack him with actual everything, because Hive cannot kill Ob. 5 attackers, but then have the Devil point to Ob Nix. And let's deal away this. We'll get rid of that. And now, I suppose we can play one of these. I'm gonna need both of them. And yeah, he's gonna gain 1 life, but we're gonna draw a card. No, Field of Ruin. That's excellent. They're gonna need a second Meatook to deal with this. And then, even then, we still have Den of the Bugbear, Tenacious Underdog, Ob. This deck is very resilient. But I also exploded my table. So, a couple of potential notes. Have cheap ways to blow up the whole board against the more aggressive green and white decks. That's definitely one more thing we could add to the deck. And Invoke Despairs. There should definitely be a pair of Invoke Despair in the sideboard to help get rid of like opposing grindy situations where there's like Planeswalkers and creatures and Meathooks. Riveteer's Charm is a draw 3, by the way. An Edict that can draw 3. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Incredible Magic card. Like, normally Edicts are not great because if you have an opponent's tokens lying around, and also you might draw in a matchup where they don't have creatures, but this makes sure that you are always getting one of the biggest threats, and then it can also just draw 3. That's pretty intense. Why would you get rid of Synthesizer instead of this? What are you hoping to draw that you can cast? You can't cast anything. Can you cast Crack Crown? No, you can't. So why Crack Synthesizer? Well, they have no cards. So they are at 3. And I was going to say, then I have Soul Transfer and Howgr Mauling in hand, so I think I can just kill him. Well, that was quite an experience. People are trying to do all sorts of like fancy stuff with Ob Nixilis and just like jam him with sack fodder and what have you, and like play like Voldaren Epicures and Onicult Anvils and what have you. But I think this is the best way, if not one of the best. Like, if not the best, then pretty close to the best way to play Ob Nixilis. Just black-red control with a lot of good cards and other planeswalkers to support. And both of these planeswalkers, importantly, also create pressure. Like, the theme of this deck, essentially, like if you look for one constant in all of the cards that are not removable, it's all of our cards that are card advantage are not just card advantage, they're also threats. Favorable Mirrorbreaker is a threat. Blood Tithe Harvester is removal. Tenacious Underdog draws cards. Corrupt Court Official makes them discard, and then also helps us trigger Ob, and can lock out the Favorable Mirrorbreaker. All of our card advantage also does other things, and that's part of why this deck is so flexible and powerful. So let's see, collected, deal damage each creature. Cinderclasm, crush the weak seems better if we're going to be going that route. Draconic Intervention does not seem great. Vampire's Vengeance, sure. Instant speed too, that's quite something. So maybe a couple of those. What about all creatures get minus? Do we have not collected down? We do. Malicious Malfunction. There we go. We could put that in as well, I suppose. It doesn't kill Adeline, which is not great. What about deal damage each creature? We did each creature. Let's do all creatures. No, it is all of those effects are sure. All right, so we've got a pair. We've got some ways of dealing 2 or 3 damage. What about 3? We've got Crippling Fear still. Is that still in the format? It is, right? Because it's from Kaldheim there. So you could put in Crippling Fear against mono green, mono white. So there's but the one thing that we know for sure we want to add: put a pair of Invoke Despair in the sideboard for exactly for these grindy matchups. And what would you take out? I mean, Graveyard Trespasser has been incredible. I've been very pleased with it. We only boarded it in this game. Actually, I think we boarded it in a previous game as well. Not certain if I did that in this video. Sorry, after a while it just blurs together. But these are incredible. And the plan of Duress, Go Blank, Graveyard Trespasser, it's still a good plan. You can definitely shave on that plan. You can like maybe cut a Duress and a Go Blank or some such. We're gonna add some other stuff in. Me here, I don't think we need 2 Velkies. We can like shave down to 1 Velkie, have an extra threat around. It's a 7-drop after all. One doesn't want too many 7-drops. Although it was pretty good in the creatures, but against the creatures, but that's okay. And then shave what, like a Duress. Sure, that's fine. So yeah, something like that. And then you could replace the removal or the Duresses or the Go Blanks or maybe 1 Graveyard Trespasser with more other removal of your choice. But this is really just fine tuning. This is the fun stuff. Also, worth noting, sometimes this card becomes really, really good in the meta. Tenacious Underdog gets completely shut down by this. Right now, we don't really have people trying to cheat things and play from their libraries, and I don't think there's terribly many Reanimator decks. Greasefang is not a thing in Standard. So Weathered Runestone, now is not the time, I don't think, but there are definitely metas where you want to consider putting this. But essentially, this is a very solid core. Hope you have fun. Hope you learned something watching me blunder my way through this. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Peace.